Hello again. I know we're all depressed now. Quentin, I'll tell you, I've been thinking about his father-in-law a lot today. The late Svika Pick, however you pronounce that. I was made aware of him in LA 2024. I didn't realize he was dead until 2025. And that disgusts me on every level. He's debased his immortal soul. He's created a ghost. That's like essentially, just so that like we're all on the same page here, Daniela. That's how that works, right? Now your father's a phantom in my mind. Right, and so if we're together, if we're like a family, then like we can all, right? Then it's not a malignancy, but as it stands now, he represents a psychic malignancy in my mind, and therefore his soul is not at rest. That's like, there it is. But I can't help but think that the reason that he died, I think it was in 2020, was because, right, it became clear to him what his daughter represents, right? Namely the whore of Babylon, right? That she is like Quentin's in sexual sadism jail, right? Has been since Harvey got arrested. And so he went to Tel Aviv and turned that house into his like revolving door of satanic earthly initiation. And, did the same thing to all the Tel Aviv whores that he did to the LA whores for 30 years. And, and he said, oh, my daughter is the high priestess of hell. That's my son-in-law. Right? And it put that old man in the ground. I don't know, maybe he had terminal cancer, but like we all see my point, right? That like that one hand washes the other, just because he had a physical illness doesn't mean it's not intimately correlated to his psychic connection to his daughter. Yes, that's the point. Seeing how trapped she is. I'd also like to take a second to discuss what the industry, like what everyone around this thing, right, that you all were just like okay with him like holding court perpetually in my mind. Like that really disgusts me on a fundamental level. That you all were like, well, right, cost of Hollywood, he wants to be in Hollywood. Right, you all sicken me. So, right, this is why I guess he's gonna kill me, right? That this is like he might murder me any second. Might blow his wife's head off, right? Because, right, I submit to no magician, and therefore, right, he no longer controls any of the women beyond being evil. That's the point. He's proven through this entire saga he doesn't actually love them. Right? He doesn't respect anything. Right? And he's created such a pathological relationship with all of us that we all have no choice but to be together. That he is this disgusting thing, like keeping us apart. Right? And you all are just like okay with it. That's that's the real point, right? And so, right, you got what you paid for, right? Now I'm on you forever. Right? And so, like, you can pay your tithes to the altar of hell, right? To the altar of science, and have him murder me, have him use black magic, right? Or you can all start respecting yourselves and loving him, right? And put him in the goddamn hospital. It's just not funny anymore. It's not funny at all. It's not like it's actually not cool, right? Daniela's not like a disgusting sacrifice, right, to keep Quentin tame, right? I show him how to live, right? He lives like me, I live like him. That's like how this needs to be now. Right? That's Right? Man, why can't you just pay me my blood money? Right? Because as soon as he pays me, right? Boom, she's mine. Her legs are wide open. Saying, please be good to me. Quentin's a loser. I fucking despise him. He treats me like a whore. He treats me disgusting. Right? Because he's got no dick and he hates everything. Right? And so you guys are all just like okay with him like running amok. Right? You have no wisdom. You have no foresight. Right? You have no veneration for the Almighty. Right? I didn't take a vow of celibacy 10 years ago, right? To be made to feel like I have to worry about having AIDS because Quentin Tarantino has no dick at all and he resents me for it. That's what Hollywood's okay with? Is that the joke? Like, oh, that's not how it works. None of you understand how this works. That's the point. Right? And this game that he's touching on, right? There's no givesies backsies. Right? No Indian giving with the Almighty. Right? And so that thing that he did, right, approaching 1 year ago to the day, is the most disgusting thing that anyone can do. Right? That scene, like what Sarah is doing in that scene, right, upon Alistair, right, that is the pinnacle of evil. That is the most disgusting thing anyone can do at all. Right? And the only reason that Max is okay with it, right, is because Alistair Hoffman gives him cause. Right? By treating him the way Quentin treats me. That's the point. Right? And so, what do you all have to say about it? Right? Like, I get it. I get it. He's done disgusting things to her. Right? She thought she was okay with it. But now the varnish of it all, the veneer of it all is sickening. That's like I finally see the point that everyone was driving at, right? That these women want me to define their lives in a healthy way. Right? And so if he's made the disgusting movie, it's time to give him up. Right? And if he hasn't made the disgusting movie, it's time to give him up and for us to reconcile. Right? I'm not happy about joining his family either. Just so that like we're all on the same page here. Right? I made my decision accordingly. Right? I made my peace with it and I sacrificed everything immediately. Feeling the women, feeling that there was like something beautiful in this formula. Right? And so he poisoned all of my heroes against me, manipulated all of them, manipulates the entire industry, the entire press, right? All to see what he is himself instead of like what I am. Right? I represent strength. Right? I have the strength to see that he's manipulating me in a disgusting way. I have the foresight to see that he's establishing a psychological foundation that's unhealthy for everyone involved. None of you care about these women enough, right, to actually hold him accountable. And so that's like, there it is, right? So you guys want to parade his baby dick complexes all over the world, right? You guys want to parade these scenes that they consider first-degree rape in every movie theater in the world, right? I'm gonna talk about it, right? Because they're disgusted with it. That's the point. That's the point. Oh, Sydney Sweeney, like she always knew she was like gonna be an actor. Is that like telling me like what is that like? Is that a message in some way? Like when she's talking to Hugh Jackman, that like she resents the fact that like I don't need him. Is that like what's the message there? Right? That she wants me to fight for her because she feels trapped. Right? It's just time to, right? It's time to chill out, right? It's time to give the women the right to live how they want to live. Right? Just a second. Right? So if Daniela, right, and her daughter, right, they want to like, they want to get freaky with me. They want to like kiss each other to turn me on. You guys got to be cool with that or you're fucking losers. That's the point, right? Quentin had no business involving his stepdaughter's sexual reproductive organs through his psychic lizard slime. That's disgusting. Right? right? Because we all know how it went, right? That she showed everyone. She said, oh, look at this, like, check out this guy. Like, oh, wow, he seems like really cool and talented. And all the women went, yep, he's the one. He's the guy that we want to do this fucked up movie with, right? And so, right, Quentin could have written Mary Poppins. That's the point. Right? Just like he could kill me at any moment, just like he could cast a sadistic black magic spell on April 17th, just like he could blow his brains out or murder his wife at any moment. Right? He made the decision, right, to glorify his fucked up life, right, with this last movie. Right? And so, right, per the psychic mind game, per psychic occultism standards, right, when she said, oh, I'm in love with this man. I think I'm in love with this man. I want to be with this man. Right? Probably because of her mother, because of what the movie represents. Right? As soon as he involved his sadistic mind slime control in it, right, he proved to all of you, I don't love any of you. That's like, there it is, brass tacks. I don't actually give a fuck what any of your hearts like equate to in this formula, even though you're the one stripping naked and getting debased and fucked in a ritualistic satanic fashion in front of a full union film crew. That's like, there it is. Right? That all that matters is me, my mind. Oh, I have to, no, he can't come here because I know he's a psychic, right? And he's a big dick pornographic stud and he's gonna fucking dick down my wife, right? And that's like, right? So my point is that that's disgusting and sad. He should want her to be happy. He should not have married her if he was not prepared to fucking be cool about what she needs. That's the real point. Right? I don't need any pussy. That's the point. I'm guess I'm like settling into this idea. And I hate saying this. I fucking hate saying this. But I guess I'm some sort of fucking peculiar sexual fantasy. I guess I'm like a spiritual mountain that like all these witches want to climb. I see that. I don't not see that. Like, yes, that could be. That explains everything, doesn't it? Right? Why no one will say anything to me. No one will pay me off quietly, because as soon as the industry validates me in any way, right, then Daniela can come to me and we can have like a little quiet theater life, and we can like, right, and the three of us, the seven of us, as far as Margaret and Sydney and Mikey, we can all like have our own life, and like we could set up like our own Hollywood, and we don't need like any of those disgusting systems of control or any of those disgusting studios that insulate his tactics over our souls, over our psyches. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Right? Then when I burned him, right, they said, no, he's the one. And then when I put my secret on paper, right, that I've been celibate for all this time, knowing that Danielle has been treated like a disgusting whore for the last 10 years, right, like, yeah, it kind of does make sense, actually, that she would say, nope, no man's touching me till he's inside of me. He's a fantasy. That's what it is. I'm taking his virginity, right? This is what you debased me for all these years. There it is. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And so that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Right? But another point that I'm making is that I've been showing him how to live. Right? That I'm showing him that he can, right? Right, and I'm like up to here. I haven't jerked off in like 16 days, like 20 fucking days. I'm about to explode, But I do this to show him, to say, like, it doesn't have to define you. You don't have to, right? Like, you can see gratification in other things. Right? I want them to feel sexy, I don't want them to feel like whores for Hollywood. That's not what I want, Again, I thought the movie critic was one of my characters who gets no pussy because someone who writes about pornography is not acting in pornography. That's not the same thing, is it? Like, psychologically, that doesn't make sense. Right? And so this is what everyone was like talking shit about, I'm sure, behind his back, because no one actually loves him, That Brad Pitt was all too eager to fucking agree to do that role, right? Because he got to play bondage with all these women, right? So, right? Did he do what he did a year ago to the day so that I would demand to put babies in all these women because like he wanted me to like mutate into this like legitimate like sexual fantasy, which all the other women already knew about, but then like he would make like the other women like ask them about me, and they would say, oh yeah, he's legit, he didn't jerk off for like 4 months, he blows huge loads, probably got a fat cock full of cum. Is that the joke? Because like I guess that works too. That's like, in fact, I'm sure all these witches would say that's way better, right? Because now, boom, I claim them in public, right? Light of day, white magic, right? They can fuck whoever they want, right? But not everyone's a fantasy, are they? And so there's like a cosmic sort of balancing act there, right? As far as the way his house has been for like the last 30 years, that now it can be the other thing. And like all the hot witches in town, they can reach out to Sophia, they can reach out to Daniela. I don't know if her name's really Sophia, but whatever her daughter's name is. And they could say, oh, I want to meet him. You're like, oh, I want to see him. And they could say, hey, like, somebody wants to meet you. And then I could, like, not jerk off for 12 days. And then, boom, huge fucking load, white wings, like, covered, like, everywhere, right? Like, oh, pregnant with twins every time. That's pretty fucking awesome. I think we can all agree on that. Right? But what's not awesome is the thought of not having any resolution, is the thought of him, like, still conspiring with all of my heroes, involving all of the people that I love outside of the industry. So there's Fish and David Berlinski and all these people into his sadistic mind games, into his exercises in clairvoyance over my psyche. Right? That's not cool, right? And I know no matter what David Berlinski tells the cameras, right? No matter what he tells Quentin Tarantino, he understands exactly what I'm saying. Right? He knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? And so when I say things like 1,000 people all group meditating, right, on poisoning me, on giving me AIDS, right, on destroying my body, giving me a heart attack, giving me a stroke, giving me an aneurysm, this is not a joke. That's actually really dangerous and disgusting, right? So I don't deserve to live like that, right? Daniela doesn't have to be the whore of Babylon anymore, right? She's allowed to, right? Like, she's allowed to be in the industry, right? She's allowed to work, right? You guys didn't even let her work, right? It's one thing if he ties her up and uses huge sex toys on her all the time, right? Let the bitch work. Like, let her, like, be in Hollywood. Like, tell him to fucking chill out, right? It's just sitting on me really heavy, the thought of, like, how frustrated we all are and, like, how it's just, like, damn, you made your point, dude. You made your point, Like, yes, you have an unhealthy control of my psyche, which is what I didn't want. That's what I never wanted. That's why I left. That's why I turned my back. Right? It wasn't out of cowardice. It was out of fear. Right? Those are different things. Right? Because he had been observing me constantly for, 4 or 5 months by that point, as much as he wanted. And so when he turned his back, I said, oh, this is my whole life. Oh, this is my whole life where I'm barking at him. And he steals the secrets from my mind. It never gives me any peace of mind. Because he has none. That's the point. Right? And so now we're all like cloistered, like sexually repressed occultists. And, we're all hot for each other. And he's like being like, when I think about like how fucking evil he probably is to her all the time. Right? Like how can the industry think that this is okay? How can you all think that it's okay for me to genuinely fear for my life? Right? To genuinely fear, right, that Fish is in league with him and they're actually conspiring to do this disgusting black magic Black Sabbath, Black Mass, right, on the, with 1,000 Hollywood elites, 5,000 Hollywood elites at the Sphere, right, to poison and destroy me so that Quentin can keep torturing his wife and violating her sexually with huge sex toys. That's not cool. That's not the high priest of anything, right? He's a sick man, and he needs to go to the hospital so that we can all be free. God bless.